Hey everybody, Max here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Batman 1989 figure from McFarlane Toys, a part of their DC Multiverse line. I initially was going to pass on this guy and until I got him in hand. I was actually out and around looking for the Batman Begins figure and went into my local Best Buy just on a whim. I don't normally go in there because they don't typically have a lot of stuff. It's mainly NECA and Turtles and their movie stuff. And I just decided to go in there. I was on my way to my local comic shop and just decided to swing in, and this is what I found. I found this guy and I got him in hand, and I really like the look of it. I dog on McFarlane a lot because of the articulation issues that I have with it, and sometimes with the pins and all that kind of stuff. But when I feel like something looks cool, I grab it. So I have several. I'm not a big McFarlane collector, but this is a pretty cool representation of the Batman 1989 costume and Michael Keaton as Batman and all that. And I actually rewatched Batman 89 not too long ago, and still holds up. It's still enjoyable. It's still one of my favorite Batman films. So I'm looking forward to getting this guy out of the box and talking about it and sharing that with you. So stick around. Okay, so here he is out of the box, and I've got him with the sticks, the poles in their hands so he can extend the cape and everything. And I gotta tell you, it took some doing to get this to work right because the cape is very thin, and I was kind of concerned I was going to tear it. So it's kind of the similar like vinyl material that the Batman Reborn Dick Grayson Batman came with, but this is thicker. This material is definitely a good deal thicker than this one, so be careful with this guy, with this particular cape when trying to, if you want to display it like that. There is some play to the cape without it, just kind of how you can position it, so there's some flexibility to it. I don't mean like it's flexible and like stretchy, but just kind of the way it's mounted, but it's so thin that it wouldn't take much to tear it. And I was trying to be extra careful in putting these poles in there. So it looks pretty cool like that. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really good. But what I ended up having to do was taking the hands off, putting the poles into the hands, and then extending and then putting them into these sleeves, and then attaching them to the arms. That was the way that I did it. And it's, as you can tell, I think in the promo images, he's fully extended. I'm kind of afraid that it would rip through the seams. So this is as good as it's gonna get. I mean, I guess, it still, you could do something like that and get more of the, full Batman, the Batwing look to it, which, that works too. So it's interesting. It's kind of a novelty to be able to do that with a Batman 89 style figure. So anyway, the box comes with a card and a stand, and pretty cool black and white image from one of his entrances in the first film. So probably from the beginning of the film, I think. So when he's knocking out those thugs. So anyway, that's the box. I guess it comes with some pretty good accessories. Yeah, he's got these poles and everything, so you can extend the cape. It's not wired, which is kind of unfortunate, but it probably would have been just too much to fool with and would have made it cost more, because this is the look they were going for and this is what they did. But like I said, the material of the cape is just a little too thin, and that's just kind of problematic to me. But accessory wise, he comes with two pairs of hands, in the sense of like open hands, and then fists. So right and left fists, but then he comes with a left-handed kind of a gesturing hand, which looks pretty good. It recreates this figure recreates the look of the 89 Batsuit very well. And so he comes with fists, and he has a right-handed like trigger finger hand for the grappling hook. So trigger finger hand, and then a right carrying hand for this little communicator or his voice activated remote control of the Batmobile. So I had a heck of a time. I still haven't been able to get this thing into that hand, so I may have to warm up the hand, or you may have to do that to get it in there if you wanted to display him like that, so he can tell the Batmobile to shields, stop. Let's see. So he's got several options for hands. He comes with this pretty cool representation, recreation of the Batarang from the film. I always thought that that was really cool, and I remember reading magazine articles about the practical effects of making this and how they, you know, how they came to this design, and it folds out and he throws it, but I think they actually use like a crossbow to shoot the cable across the set there, and to get the look that they were looking for and everything. But I always thought the Batarang for the film was really good. He comes with these two throwing stars that I just rewatched the film and I don't recall him using these. Maybe he used them in Batman Returns. Did Gosh, correct me in the comment section. Did one of the villains throw these? Is this like a villain weapon? Gosh, wow, it just gives me an excuse to go watch it again. And a pretty good representation of the grappling hook. It's a little bigger. The handle is bigger, I think, than in the movie, but I think that's just to make it easier to grab a hold of, and it does so fairly well. And I think they did a good job of recreating the look of it. I think they probably could have added a few more gold highlights. I think this like round section where the cable is probably housed, I think that might have been gold or something like that. But the grappling hook itself, the hook itself, looks really good. So I think they did a really good job recreating that. So that's it for the accessories. And then now that I've got this guy, with the arms extended and everything, I'm going to pause the video for a second while I take the poles out, and we'll talk about articulation. Okay, so here we are. We got the poles out of the sleeves on the cape and everything, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be to get them out. I just slid the handles out of the hands and slid them out of the sleeves, and here we are. So this is a really good representation, I think, of the bat suit from the '89 film. Some of the promo shots and pictures, advertisement shots and stuff like that, it seemed like the neck was thinner than it is. And yes, obviously the original cowl is just a big rubber piece, and it's, he couldn't turn his head left or right, or he could have to turn his whole body around to see and everything. And that's that's accurate to the film, but it's not practical in real life. That was the design so that it would look good on screen. But and I've heard some people complain about this, that they wanted the neck to be completely stationary and like it was in the thicker and stationary like it was in the movie. I don't really have a problem with that. I thought initially that the neck was too thin, but it's not too bad. I think that the representation of the cowl, the design of it, I think they captured the look very well, all the way around. Just the recesses and the edges and the scallops and in the ears and everything. The ears might be a little too long, but not enough to complain about. Like I said, Michael Keaton has a distinct look, a distinctive face, and I think the lips are just a little too large. But it looks close enough, I guess. And I think they got the eyes. They did the eyes very well. So he's got pretty good range of motion. He looks up that far and he looks down that far. There's a diaphragm cut that is not too great. not too bad either. There's, you know, the waist swivels, which is actually pretty good and isn't hindered too much by the utility belt. But he does not bend forward, which these diaphragm cuts, honest to gosh, I mean, this must be a cost-saving thing, the diaphragm cuts instead of the ratcheted ab crunch and that sort of thing. But it just, you know, I think an ab crunch, you get more forward bend, and you get, I mean, these things, you go back further than you go forward, and which is, it's a pain, it's a problem, that annoys me. But it looks really good. I think the sculpted muscles and everything look really well. Turned out really well. I always liked the bat symbol for the '89 film, just the extra little scallops at the bottom. This symbol's just a little off center for me, but I think it turned out, I mean, okay on a whole. This overlay, the cape is mounted underneath it, and there is some play. So this is kind of how I decided to show him off, just kind of get it out of the way. I'm not really crazy about this type of material because it just it's too shiny. It wrinkles too easily. I would have preferred a cloth one, you know, like say the Ben Affleck one, and I would have been fine with that. I think it probably would have, and there's a little more flexibility with this type of material. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe sewing the pockets on there might have been a royal pain, but you know, I don't see why. I mean, there's this type of material is used for wired capes, so I wish they had gone with this type of material instead of this weird picnic table vinyl thing. Because the stitching, you know, it's just a single stitch. You know, it gets the job done, but you know, it's you know, it's not perfect, but like I said, it gets the job done. But I wish they had gone with a cloth material instead of this kind of thing. But what can you do? Like I said, there is some playability. Like you can move it around underneath this overlay a little bit. So you know, you can drape it over the shoulder a little bit, or like I was doing before, kind of folding it over. Let's see if I can do it again. So that it lays a certain way. You know, it's pretty wrinkled out of the package, but this is kind of a cool look in my opinion. The range of motion is, you know, kind of the floating shoulder like what we're used to with McFarlane. There's not much backward, so I might just have to work it out a little bit. Yeah, it's a little stiff right there. But you know, get full range of motion there. You get a T-pose. It's, ooh, that's not good. The right arm is a bit, right arm is a bit better. Left arm is a little stiff. So I'm gonna have to work that out a little bit, but pretty good range of motion. I mean, it goes all the way around, it has a bicep swivel, pretty good T-pose. This one, the left arm's a little loose. This is the first time I've had a really loose joint, but you know, it's pinned, of course, but it looks like the bat suit from the '89 film. And I gotta say, these plastic ridges here, what do they even call? I mean, I've been a Batman fan for years. What even are these spikes? What do we call these spikes? Claws. They're solid, so they're gonna, you know, don't give this to a kid. They'll poke themselves. They'll poke their eye out or something. So same way with the right. This right arm is a bit stiffer than the left. Pretty good range of motion. Left arm, just a little bit loose in places on the left. And it's got the usual peg system for the wrist. This one, I think, honestly, I think I might have got a little bit of a hoopty one, because the this hand comes off really easy. So I might have to stick some handy tack in there. But, you know, it's standard McFarlane wrist system. And this has the gripping hands. Let's see how easy this one comes off. Yeah. So rotate around, up and down, all that wonderful stuff that we're used to. Really good representation of the utility belt, gold paint all the way around. So he's really just all black with a little gold and yellow and flesh tone. So there's not a lot of color to this guy, which is fine. I mean, this is the way he looked in the movie. So you know, typical hips, you get pretty good splits, but not much of a forward bend because of the diaper. I just wish, yeah, thigh cuts, we don't have that. I think the diaper piece should probably be cut a little higher so that you get more, it doesn't hinder forward bend on the legs, because you get maybe 45 degrees, and that is always annoying to me. And let's see, double jointed pinned knees, pretty good. Not much, a little backward bend. And I like the attention to detail on the, you know, he's got the shin armor and then this cover over the front of the ankle. So this is a little rubber piece that's glued on there, covers up the ankle joint, but you still, I'm having to work with the rocker, but you get some range of motion. And yeah, so, and then it has a toe articulation too. So pretty good attention to detail on the boots, I gotta say. So I'm impressed by that. And just kind of smooth black plastic on the upper legs, and you know, it looks like Batman '89. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Not too bad of a figure. I was wowed initially, and then kind of wasn't, and then I saw it in the store, and I thought, yeah, this looks solid, and I loved that film. It was back in the day. It was an event, let me tell you, when that movie came out. Saw it opening night. Went to the first showing, couldn't get in. They were sold out. Had to buy the tickets for the second showing. It was completely sold out. And at the beginning of the film, the one of the workers there, one of the theater employees came out and before the movie started and asked everybody, like, look, hey, this is a sold out show. Please, everybody move to the center. Even if you can't sit with the person that you came with, just move to the center. And it took some cajoling to get people to move, but it was sold out. It was a packed house. And luckily, me and my friend, we were off on the side that just had on the side row with just 2 seats. We didn't have to move. So anyway, that was the event of the summer of 1989 was this, the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman movie, and Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and he killed it as the Joker. So yeah, so really cool figure. I will give him a warp factor of, I'm going to give him a warp factor of 8. On a whole, aesthetically, it recreates the costume really well. I'm having some trouble with the left arm. The left arm, it's a little loose in places and tight in others. And the material for the cape is a bit on the, it's a little disappointing, but I get the effect. It's a cool effect, and I might display it like that or for a little while just because that's what it's meant to do. But I like the accessories that it came with. It's one of my criticisms of McFarlane figures. They don't often come with enough accessories. But I'm glad to see that this guy did, and that's great. So for $22.99 with the accessories and the display options and everything, I think this is a really solid representation of that particular era of Batman. Oh, man down. And like I said, I'm going to give him a warp factor of 8. So let me know what you think in the comments section. Did you pick this guy up? Are you happy with him? Did you have any issues? Did the poles give you any grief? The cape? What do you think of the material and all of that kind of good stuff? So, all right, guys, I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you take care. See ya.